We here at Switchforce love Nintendo for a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons is the many franchises that they have. Yes, we get a lot of Mario games. Yes, we get a lot of Zelda games. We get plenty of Mario Kart. We get plenty of Smash Brothers, but Nintendo has other franchises that they don't use as often that I would personally love to see return on Switch. To be honest, my criteria is a little bit loose on each individual game, and I will of course explain what I mean, because some of these games we have seen recently but not in any specific incarnation. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get there. But like I said, today I want to talk about 5 series that have been dormant in one way or another for at least 5 years. In many cases more, and I think it's time for them to finally come back and get us a new entry. So, let's start off with number 1. I wanted to start off with Golden Sun for a very specific reason. The series was born on the Game Boy Advance, so that was a very long time ago. The latest release, which was Golden Sun Dark Dawn, was released in 2010, so 6 years ago. I think we are plenty due, and the reason why I picked Golden Sun is we all know that the Switch is both a home console and a portable console at the same time. My hope is that eventually this leads to the ushering out of the 3DS, and then the Switch is just the one Nintendo console, no need for any more fragmentation. Now, I know that for a while, we're still going to have the 3DS, and that's cool. I understand that. You know, it's a huge install base that you don't want to get rid of. But to bring a series like Golden Sun, that has, again, traditionally been only on their mobile platform, to come over to what their new console is would be amazing. Plus, the series is like super good. Golden Sun was one of my favorite games on Game Boy Advance. I never finished The Lost Age, but I did finish Dark Dawn, and the games are all freaking cool. I love them. They are RPGs, and you know, I am a sucker for RPGs if you know anything about me. And man, I do miss them. I genuinely miss them, and to see one on the Switch would be phenomenal. So, with that, let's move on to number 2.
It was bad enough when the dark forces were contained in the underworld.
So this is the first example of what I meant by my criteria being a little bit loose. The original Kid Icarus was released in 1986, although there was a sequel in 91, and 2012 gave us Uprising. So 4 years ago, not 5 like I said, but that was on 3DS. We haven't had a console Kid Icarus game in quite some time, and I know Golden Sun was completely mobile. It was never on console, and I still use that, but like I said, I'm a little bit loose with the criteria just because I like these games so much. Kid Icarus Uprising was really fun, one of the first big standout games on the 3DS, and from what I remember, everybody really liked it. It was originally released in March of 2012, so it's been some time, so it's not like we're getting a lot of Kid Icarus games. And you know, the last one that we had before that was, like I said, in 91. So this series was dormant for a very long time, and I really hope that's not what is happening again. It sold pretty well, Uprising. I mean, it shipped 1.8 million units or something like that. So, you know, that's pretty good for a mobile game from a franchise that hasn't been around since the early 90s. And yeah, from what I remember, all my friends really liked it, I really liked it, and I would love to see another Kid Icarus game on the Switch. But let's go ahead and move on to our number 3.
You're going down, monsters!
At number 3, we have one of Nintendo's most obscure yet somehow still very beloved series, Mother. Originally released in 1989 for the Famicom, Mother 2, which is known as Earthbound Everywhere That Isn't Japan, was released in 1994 for the Super Nintendo, and in 2006 we had Mother 3 for the Game Boy Advance. Again, playing fast and loose with the whole 5-year thing I was talking about. But these games are written by, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher his name, Shigesato Itoi. He's been pretty adamant that he's not interested in making another Mother game. There is a Mother 4 fan game out there. There's trailers for it. I don't know if it was ever released. I did come across it while doing research for this. The trailers are up on YouTube if you really want to see it. But the very, very cool thing is you can go play Earthbound, which is Mother 2, on Nintendo eShop. You can go download it and check it out. It's super, super cool. And man, I would love another one of these games. Earthbound is an absolute classic, very highly regarded in the pantheon of just RPGs and just games in general. So it would be great to see Nintendo do this, although I don't think it's very likely at all. But still deserved a spot on my list, I think. At number 4, we have a series that everybody thought was going to come back at some point, and it just hasn't. FZero was originally released in 1990. The latest release is 2004 FZero Climax that was on Game Boy Advance, and since then, FZero hasn't had a game release at all. Captain Falcon does obviously make appearances in the Smash Brothers franchise. I don't know if there's even room for FZero anymore just because Mario Kart is so successful. For those of you that are not familiar with FZero at all, it's like a futuristic racing series, and it's really cool. The music is like fantastic, and like I said, there's been a lot of releases between the original and now. 1996 gave us Grand Prix. We had Grand Prix 2 in 97. 98 gave us F-Zero X, and there's even a few more after that. So for a little while, we got a lot of them, and then by my estimation, Mario Kart came, took over the world of kart racing, I guess, and that was that. Although F-Zero isn't a kart racer, it's much more fast-paced, and like I said, man, the music is phenomenal. It's one of the reasons why F-Zero is still beloved to this day, and you could check it out. I'm pretty sure it's available on Virtual Console for sure, on Wii. I know that for sure. I don't know if there's any available on eShop, but either way, let's get on to the number 1, which shouldn't really be a surprise to anyone. Number 1 should be absolutely no surprise to anybody at all. Metroid is a staple in my video game career. Super Metroid is one of my favorite games ever, top 3 at least. I absolutely love that game, and it's phenomenal. It's a classic, right? Metroid Prime, that series, that trilogy, is fantastic in its own right. Originally released in 2002 for the GameCube, then we had Metroid Prime 2 Echoes in 2004, and then we had Metroid Prime 3 Corruption in 2007. Ever since then, we've had Other M, which a lot of people don't really even count as a Metroid game, even though it fully is. And ever since then, man, not a lot going on in the Metroid world. We did have that 3DS game that isn't really a Metroid game at all, but, we don't talk about that, really. We really don't. So, for a franchise so beloved with such a rich history, you would expect Nintendo to try to put these things out more often. Like I said, Other M was the last big release, and that one had mixed reactions. For the most part, Metroid games, they do pretty well, review-wise. Even the Zero Mission stuff that was on the handhelds was well received. Again, Super Metroid regarded as a classic, and I think it deserves it in every single way. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Metroid is coming back. I think we all know that in our gut. There's no way that Nintendo goes a full another console life cycle without a Metroid game. And whether that be Metroid Prime 4, which I think would absolutely blow people's minds, or, an entirely new incarnation akin to Metroid Prime. Again, not a Metroid Prime game, but just something that maybe even starts a new trilogy. I would even take like a downloadable like Super Metroid style game. Metroid is so important that it is part of a subgenre, Metroidvania, which is one of my favorite subgenres. It's a mixture between Metroid and Castlevania, and the importance of Metroid cannot be understated. I think it's time. I really feel like it's time. I think we get one soon. I do think it's been in development. I have no basis for this other than just my longing for another Metroid game, but it really feels like it's time. And I know everybody feels that way too, and I think Nintendo knows it. So hopefully they can bring some Metroid goodness over to the Switch. But that has been my list of 5 games that have been dormant in one way or another. Again, sorry my criteria was so loose, but I wanted to be very specific with these 5 games because I really like all of these franchises. And I didn't want to just throw things up there that, I don't care for. And, Nintendo does a pretty good job of maintaining their franchises. Just these 5, for whatever reason, don't get as many games. In the case of Mother, we may never get one again. In the case of Metroid, we will almost surely get one again soon. And that's pretty much it. I do hope you guys enjoyed the list. Let me know what you think in the comments below. This video, again, me solo. The next video you see won't be me solo. So if you like, Zach and Jake around, don't worry, that's coming, But I really wanted to make this video. I had the time. They're doing holiday stuff, so they didn't have the time. But let me know what you think in my comments below. Is there any other games that you can think of that I left out? And that's pretty much it. Switch Force out.